Like, the thing is, before somebody gets to manipulating you, manipulate. Before somebody gets to manipulating you, you need to understand, like, that person's not perfect and neither are you. So don't let it go too far. Don't let somebody try to tell you about yourself too much, because it's like, well, what do you want me to be? You want me to be a perfect person? Because that's impossible. Or do you want me to be a person that you want to be the person you want me to be? Because that's not who I am. I'm kind of not going to be either one of those. Two is like manipulation. It could be ever so subtle. Manipulation could actually be somebody reacting to your confidence or to your ability to do something that they wouldn't or can't do for whatever reason. We have to start calling manipulation out for what it is, because ultimately people who manipulate thrive off of you not knowing yourself. They thrive off of you being unsteady from the words that they put on you or from whatever they are telling you. They can know that they can know they're tweaking and it won't make a difference. Like, they want you in that state of being unstable so they can create that stability for you. However, that person makes an awful God. So this is a bad situation from jump. This is why manipulation has to be clocked. I don't need no silver diamonds, I just need. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about manipulation, so let's get right into it. As always, I'm going to talk out of a place of experience, but also what I out of a place of experience. And and today, this is something that honestly this is something that's been on my heart, on my mind. A lot of things are on my heart and on my mind, so there's that. But yeah, this is something that I think everyone has experienced or fallen victim to or executed. Like, manipulation is one of those things where either you fall victim to it, you clock it, or you are the manipulator. Like, it's just that common, in my opinion. And in a day and age where narcissism, the word narcissism and toxicity and all these words go around, it's very important to understand that manipulation is at the core of like almost all of that. And manipulation, simply put, is just, maybe I should Google it. What's actually crazy is if you Google manipulation, the word manipulation is in the definition, ergo is not defining what the word manipulation is, like I thought. So I'm gonna just give the best words I can to it. Manipulation is basically when you try to get someone to do what you want them to do, like without knowing. That's the thing about manipulation, is that you're not aware that you are being used as a pawn in somebody's grand scheme of things. And that grand scheme could just be validation, self-validation. That grand scheme could be like, you know, embezzlement, like Bernie Madoff type level. Manipulation could be, I don't know, whatever manipulation you fall victim to. But I do want to just talk about how manipulation isn't what, we're not subject to manipulation. Like, manipulation doesn't just have to happen and we just have to accept it. Like, that's not how that's not how it's supposed to work. Like, manipulation is not supposed to be like the end all be all, and it's not supposed to be like the power that we fall subject to. A lot of people subconsciously, like, they get aligned into theologies or ideologies that require manipulation. Like, I'm gonna just say the law of attraction. Like, the law of attraction takes biblical principles and it manipulates it for yourself, for your own self-gain. Like, there are laws of the universe put in order by the God of the universe, yes, but you can't just take that and use it for yourself and think that you draw in power from just an empty pot of the universe, and that it comes from no, like, from no evil or good power. Like, that's kind of deviating, but not really. It's all gonna come back to that. I'm gonna let the video speak for itself. This is something that I really have had to hone in on. So let's get into it. Now that we've defined manipulation, the reality behind it is that manipulation doesn't actually work if you're in tune with yourself. In all honesty, if you set clear boundaries, if you voice who you really are, if you voice the things that you believe that you want, even if you grow out of that place or aren't really sure that you're going to have that same opinion forever, you have the right to say, this is what I want out of something, or hey, and be careful with that, but you know what I'm saying, like, reasonably, like, hey, I don't want to feel like I'm being treated like garbage when I'm around you. That's a very valid request, right? Manipulation is just so common that this could be used as advice for relationships, but for like anything. Like, this manipulation, once you clock it, you're going to realize how often it happens. And I think that's the scary thing about it, is understanding like how many people are subconsciously manipulating other people, and how many people subconsciously, including yourself, it could be including yourself, like fall victim to someone else's manipulative schemes. And before I get into all the other stuff, I'll just use myself as an example. I'm somebody who, yeah, I said what I said, and I'm all for being corrected. I would love to be corrected because I would be narcissistic, foolish, annoying, toxic, one mind, like, one track mind, closed minded, all of those things if I wasn't open to criticism or correction. Like a fool hates correction. That's Bible. That's Bible for you. But at the same time, everybody does not have access to tell me what to do.
Everybody does not have access to tell me what to do.
Everyone does not have the right green light right away. Everyone does not have the right to tell me something. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real because it gets to a point. When I was a child, sure. But as an adult, as someone who, as you age, you don't have to be an adult necessarily, as long as you're cognitively aware that you know that you're not going for that. That is a threat to other people. And a lot of people retaliate to that threat, to that energy with manipulation. I'll use myself for an example. I am someone, I would consider myself assertive. Have I been aggressive? Like in the past, yes. Like growing up, trying to understand like my personality and everything. Anyways, I'm an assertive person. It's diagnosed by myself. I'm assertive, and I love that. I'm not gonna lie, I do. But a lot of times growing up, I was mistakenly accused of being aggressive, or I was mistakenly accused of being aggressive. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I was. That's not to say that I never was aggressive. Like that's not true. However, that's not my personality. Like I'm not an aggressive person. And that would then lead me to overcorrect and become passive in situations that I'm actually not wired to be passive in, because I'm an assertive person. And assertion is like right in the middle of that. Like assertive is like a step above being passive, and it's a step below being aggressive, because I believe that being aggressive can get you in situations that you don't need to be in, but being passive can make you just as guilty as somebody who's executing something, because you don't have the words, you don't interject with your words, you don't speak whenever you probably should speak. And I think being assertive is kind of something where it's a balance of the two, to be honest, because it's not always interjecting yourself, but it's not always being quiet either. If you have the knowledge, if you have the words to speak, you probably should. And being that kind of person, being raised to be that kind of person, because I mean, I can take that back more so. I can credit that more so to how I was raised in my village, more than like I'm just natural, like some assertive person. I do think some of that is character, but when I look at the character of the people that raised me and my whole village, that's also like, I can say that for them too. I love it. Okay. But at the same time, I've also noticed that can really rub people. Like you can be assertive, you can be as clear as day, and someone can try to tell you like, why did you say that to me? Or like someone can try to tell you like, you're aggressive, you're this, you're that. And it's like, no. And that's what I want to kind of circle everything back to, is like manipulation. It could be ever so subtle. Manipulation could actually be somebody reacting to your confidence or to your ability to do something that they wouldn't or can't do for whatever reason. Maybe they haven't built the emotional intelligence to do that yet. But whenever you clearly state your claim or you mark your boundaries, if somebody retaliates with like to that by saying like that's out of order and it's out of line, and it clearly is not, that's manipulation, and you gotta hold your ground. Because you got to stand on business. You have to. That's the only way to stay true to yourself. Because in those moments, I've come to realize that when I fold, or if I fold, I also fold on my character. Like it becomes easier to like become like muzzled. It becomes easier to like not speak and to not interject or not say anything whenever I actually should. And that's the problem, because someone has to speak. What did JFK say? Why wait to do for your country when you could do today for your country? Hold on.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man.
Boom. Google got me. A famous quote from John F. Kennedy, president that was killed by the CIA. Very profound, very deep, very insightful. In all seriousness, that's a real thing. You know, we all have a duty as civilians, as children of God, like literally as a person, as an inhabitant of Earth. We have a duty to do something and that is at the very least to speak truth, speak to the truth, and call out wrong whenever it's being done, and especially when it comes to you as an individual. And that's why I made this video, was just because, like, in recent weeks, y'all, I'm not gonna hold you. In recent weeks, I've come to the realization of how many times I could have fallen victim to manipulation, but because I've had this belief that because I can, and it's not because I'm an impressive person. I just really want to make that clear. I just want to say, like, I can clock the difference in somebody trying to manipulate me. I can kind of see it. I can see it in real time. And I think that's just because I was taught to be somebody who is aware of what I'm requesting. I wouldn't like to think that I'm somebody who requests too much, who requests things that are out of the, ordinary bounds of, like, reasonable expectation. And when somebody doesn't want to step up to the plate, when somebody doesn't want to reciprocate, when somebody doesn't want to back up, like, the words they said with the actions, manipulation is just so easy to fall into. Manipulation is just such an easy hat to put on, because it automatically, like, levels the playing field to where the blame cannot be placed on somebody who might actually be responsible for something, if that makes sense. I'll use an example. I had a situation recently where somebody's son tried to tell me that, I was dominant. I was, like, aggressive. And I really felt like that was a reflection. That goes back to the last video I just made. Perspective is everything. Me and this person I can count, prior to him saying that to me, I could count on one hand how many conversations we had. And I could probably count on one hand how many words were spoken between the two of us. We didn't really speak. So that was the one thing about that, like, being told that I'm something by somebody who don't know me. What the hell are you talking about?
What the hell are you talking about?
But I let it rock, and I let the person keep talking. I let them keep talking for a few days, actually. And they were kind of adamant on it until I told them, like, hey, I don't like that. They were adamant on telling me that I am this kind of person. And I was waiting for them to self-correct, because when they would tell me that, I would, like, get quiet. I would kind of be like, I would either defend myself, not like in an aggressive way. I would just be like, hey, I think you're mistaking, like, my communication style for being aggressive whenever it's not. I would defend myself. I would find myself defending myself, or, like, being silent. And it made me feel weird. It made me feel kind of bad, kind of sad, because what the person said actually did offend me. But it was like, because it offended me because they're trying to put something on me. You know what I'm saying? And, like, but it was repetitive. Like, it was repetitive, and you have to be very mindful. That's a way in which people can manipulate you. Like, some people, they can, like, charge what they perceive you to be as who you are, and that is not the case. You have to know who you are. And the thing is, I don't know I'm 26. I'm gonna, like, when I turn 27, there's gonna be things that I learned in the span of these few months that I didn't know before. And that's just the truth. There's gonna be things that I think about that are different. When I'm 36, there's gonna be things that I think about differently than how I did at the age of 26. There's probably gonna be a lot of regrets that I have. Probably gonna be a lot of things that I look back and I'm like, I'm so proud of you. And regrets isn't a great word, but things that I would say if I could go back, I would change it. Because I feel that way now at 26. I feel that way now at 26. Like, I feel like that's just a part of life, and that's where growth comes from. Like, looking back and understanding, like, hey, I wish, I won't do that thing. If I run into a similar situation like that, I would not do that again. And I think that's honestly the best I could do. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just a girl. I'm sorry. We're all human. And if you want a perfect person, I need you to get on your knees and talk to God. If you want perfection, I need you to meet a man. There's a man for you. If you want perfection, Mount Calvary. If you want perfection, I have good news for you. If you want perfection, there's a book. Comes in a lot of translations. They got the NIV, NLT, CSB, KJV, NKJV. I mean, we have a lot of different ways to go about this. That's just kind of, that was a little tangent. That was a little tangent, but I meant every word. Like, the thing is, before somebody gets to manipulating you, before somebody gets to manipulating you, you need to understand, like, that person's not perfect and neither are you. So don't let it go too far. Don't let somebody try to tell you about yourself too much, because it's like, well, what do you want me to be? Do you want me to be a perfect person? Because that's impossible. Or do you want me to be a person that you want to be the person you want me to be? Because that's not who I am. I'm kind of not going to be either one of those. So relax. You know what I'm saying? Like, Anyways, let me go back to the example I was giving for myself. But yeah, somebody's son was basically trying to tell me that, I'm this, I'm that. And I hate to say it, but I have to. But I just really feel like that was projection of how he felt maybe in my presence. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I never said or did anything to communicate that message. And so for you to say that is like wild. It's wild. And that's another thing. When I heard the information about me, when somebody was trying to tell me about myself in ways that I never really heard, and I didn't accept, like it did not register with my spirit. Um, I was confused. I was a little thrown off. And because, I mean, when someone's talking to me, I want to understand what they're saying. I want to hear every word and I want to ingest it. I don't want to write it off just because I don't agree. That's just not how relationship or communication or community works at all. Because everyone ultimately isn't meant to be your spouse or something very significant to you in that capacity. But if anything, we are all supposed to, like, treat each other with respect and love. Like, that's the least we can do. And that's something that's missing. I feel like this is a little tangent, but just because someone, like, how people treat someone outside of romantic interest matters because that's their character. And it's only a matter of time before the person they have is a romantic interest is going to be subject to that same kind of treatment because that's their character. Like, I look at people's character outside of how they treat someone that they find attractive because that's really who you are. And it's only going to be a matter of time before I'm one of those people to you because I'm not special. I'm not perfect. I'm not different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tying together. It's tying together. I do want to say this. Like, when I heard that, like I said, I was really confused and I was kind of like stunned. I was shocked. And I was like, okay. I brought it back up to the person and they apologized and whatnot. But I mean, we just talking about the topic now. So sorry. Sorry. But manipulation, I recognized in that moment, like, and I had known this before, but I have trying to put words to it. It thrives off of control. It thrives off of confusion. Like manipulation, people that manipulate, they know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest. Manipulation isn't always conscious. That's true, but manipulators a lot of times know what they're doing and they know their tendencies because it's also a habit. Like manipulating people is a habit. We see this in narcissism, covert and overt. It can manifest in a lot of different ways, but if you're someone who constantly takes the victim route, that's manipulation. You're automatically putting yourself on the bottom side, like on the underside of the car or something. Like you're always the one that's getting run over. You're always the one that's, you always take that position. Ergo, the story can only be perceived one way from you, or the story can only go in the direction of you're the victim. And there's there's other ways that it manifests as well. But I will say ultimately, I think manipulation thrives off of confusion and control. And its ultimate goal is to get you to do what it wants you to do. Subconsciously, consciously, it doesn't matter. We have to start calling manipulation out for what it is because ultimately people who manipulate thrive off of you not knowing yourself. They thrive off of you being unsteady from the words that they put on you or from whatever they are telling you. Even though it's gaslighting, they could know that they're tweaking and it won't make a difference. Like they want you in that state of being unstable so they can create that stability for you. However, that person makes an awful God. So this is a bad situation from jump. This is why manipulation has to be clocked because that person who's trying to manipulate you is trying to destabilize you and become your stabilizer and enabler and all that stuff. And that's not a good recipe. This person cannot save you. Don't matter if they love you. They wouldn't love you. If they loved you and they knew how to love, they wouldn't manipulate in the first place. Like real love is not manipulation. In the form of a friendship, a romantic, there's no space for it. There's no capacity for it. Layman terms, let me just be real. Manipulation is witchcraft. Manipulation is trying to get somebody to do what you want them to do without them knowing. It's insane. Really think about it. That's insane. That's really crazy. That's really wild. And so it's important for us to really like clock things that people are doing that we feel are like, that we know are manipulative, you know? Like the only way to actually clock it though is to be in touch with yourself. And that can be tricky because as you're in touch with yourself, people can still try to manipulate you. But you have to always check in with yourself and really, it takes a deep level of accountability and self-reflection to do it. But you always have to like come back to the place of, okay, where am I operating out of? Does this person have a point? And if you consistently see that a person is making an accusation and they're not making a point, but they more so probably want you to do something, you got to handle that. You got to handle that and not succumb to it. If you succumb to it, you're going to succumb to your character changing as well. You're going to succumb to you're going to succumb to like losing yourself. And that's ultimately, when I look around at the world, that's what a lot of things want you to do. That's what Instagram wants you to do. That's what TikTok wants you to do. All these trends, that's what companies want you to do. Companies want you to buy their product because you're not good enough without it. You know what I'm saying? News media wants you to watch that channel because you're not getting real news without it. If you think about it, everywhere you look, every which way, we're being pulled in a million different directions. It's ever so important to like stay true to ourselves in this day and age, because we're going into an age where deception is going to be all around us. It's going to be around us spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. With AI, we're going to be physically deceived, y'all. Like, it's getting to the point where we're only going to know people by their fruit. We're only going to know people by like their character. And so you have to be in touch. You have to be mindful of the people you let in your circle. Be mindful of who's talking to you and who's trying to change you through their own insecurities, through their own projections. Because that's a real threat to who you are, and that's a real threat to the gift that God has given all of us, whatever that gift is. If it's singing, if it's dancing, if it's basketball, if it's cleaning, if it's talking, whatever it is, like if it's being a parent, doesn't matter. If it's being a friend, if it's being whoever you are. My battery died. I was cooking. Tell me I wait. Okay. Like I was saying, I'm about to wrap this up because it is a long video. It has occurred to me. There's been so much going on. I gotta start posting this channel more, y'all. Like, hold me accountable. If you're watching this and you're from my Instagram, like, shoot me a message if you feel like I'm being lazy. I don't even care if you don't subscribe. Like, if you just feel like talking, then just do it at this point, because I need to post on this channel a lot more consistently. I stand by what I said. I think that's truth. I think that's real. Like, I would encourage everybody to, touch grass and really stay grounded in who you are. For me, that requires, faith. That requires a relationship with God that I have to water and nurture. And I really think that's true for everybody. I don't think I'm any different. I'm just going to say only for myself, for the sake of not seeming like I'm trying to put it on other people. But if there's anything I could recommend or would recommend, if you don't know how to be in touch with yourself or get in touch with yourself, is like pray. If you don't feel comfortable reading the Bible or giving it a chance that way, if you're not sure that you believe in a higher power at all, there is one. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. The only thing is getting in touch with him. And it's getting time to where it's necessary, y'all. Like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts. And I'm speaking about manipulation in the form of relationships. But like I kind of hit on, is manipulation is going to be so ever present around us and it already is. But it's going to be to the point where I don't think we're really going to know left from right. And it is my heart's desire that us as a people, like all people, like my people, Black people, American people, people of the world, citizens of the world, like we wake up to the manipulation that's being done, because it's not just familial, it's not just relational. It's in marketing, it's in media, it's in money, it's in power, it's in politics, it's in everything. And that's another video for another day. That's actually another playlist, but that'll be on the horizon. And if I could round off this video, it is to encourage everybody in the face of manipulation, no matter what it is, to really hear the person, but don't falter. Like, you don't got to take somebody's words just because they say it. Only word you got to take is the word of God. Yeah, the only words you actually have to listen to and take, like, as is, are the words of God. Everybody else, you kind of need to run it through a filter in the first place. It could be your family, it could be your mommy, your daddy. People that love you can manipulate you. So it's not even in that goes okay. So I gotta backtrack on something I said earlier in the video of like someone who loves you wouldn't manipulate you. I mean that in the sense of, I kind of still mean it, but because humans aren't perfect, so we're not capable of executing perfect love. Boom. But, like abusive, somebody, you know the difference. I hope you know the difference. Like, parents can subconsciously manipulate their children by doubting their dreams. Whenever the parent actually wants what's best for the child, they really do. However, they are scared to trust the child because, well, they don't trust their kid. It's a form of manipulation to make the parent feel good whenever they smash their children's dreams, whenever the dreams are not what the parent wanted to hear, but that's because the parent wants what's best for the child. That's manipulation, don't get me wrong, but it's different. It's coming from a different place. And you still have to clock it. So a conversation can be had. You still have to clock it, because if you take that identity on as well, you're going to be, you know what I'm saying? You'll forfeit your own future, because mommy and daddy don't know what God has for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, mommy and daddy don't know the deepest desires of your heart. You may not know that either. Like, I think life is a lot of exploring that. I don't think we figure that out by 18. I don't think we figure that out with a college degree. I don't think we, and I have too. I don't think we figure it out with, like, you know, the degrees that we get in life. I think that is something that's ever evolving, and it's a journey, and it's a beautiful one. It's a treacherous one at the same time. But it is also very much, like, I think, a sign of a human living life in the way that we're supposed to, because it's not always hills, it's not always valleys, but it is, in fact, the combination of the two. And in conclusion, in summary, I would like to say, hear the person, hear them out, but be like bamboo. Like, bamboo is very firm, but it's very flexible. Like, listen to them, right? But also clock that. You know what I'm saying? Like, clock that, please. Don't let people tell you who you are and they don't know who they are. Don't let people tell you who they are whenever they're operating out of a place of insecurity or projection. And that's not to smash on another person. That's not to, like, dump on somebody. But it is the truth of the matter. Like, just because somebody feels a certain way about you does not mean that it becomes your problem. It does not mean that it is true. And it is not your responsibility to even change that perception. Because some people are also committed to misunderstanding. That's a real thing. And it's just important to analyze who's doing what at any given moment and be vigilant. So do that. And also, if you feel like you are getting played or panic, if you're panicking because you think you're being played or manipulated, like, it's normal. I'm speaking from experiences. I've been manipulated into relationships. Like, I've been manipulated into getting I've been manipulated into getting into relationships with people before. I have manipulated myself. I have been the subject of manipulation plays. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's happened. I just I think it comes to a point, you know, it's something that I had to put a stop to. And I would urge, from my process, my journey, I would urge anybody else to really, you know, investigate that part of their life. Cut out that fat if you need to. You know what I'm saying? If you need to. Hear that for what you should hear it for. And if you want to clock it, I would say something is like, hey, it doesn't always have to result in, like, a big blow up or a big fallout. I will be honest. Like, it doesn't have to. If someone is willing to acknowledge that they've been doing something and they want to change because they actually do care about you and do love you, I think it's worth having a conversation. But I think to start it, I really think it requires you being in touch with yourself, and it just really coming down to, hey, I see what you're doing. I don't know what you want. I don't know if you want attention. I don't know if you want love, but whatever it is, you don't have to go about it this way. And I'm not going for it. If you're going to keep, you know, trying to tell me that I'm the one that's doing something that you're actually doing, or I'm the one that's doing something that you like, still, if you're telling me that I'm the one doing something that you're actually doing, you know what I'm saying? You're projecting, manipulating, whatever. It just has to be, you know, let's put a stop to it. So I really hope that makes sense. I feel like a lot of times I talk in between the lines, but sorry, I try. And yeah, if you can relate to this, or you feel like this is something that, you know, you have dealt with, or you have any recommendations, you have your own stories, drop them in the comments. Like, let me see what's up. And remember, being self-aware or calling out manipulation is not about being perfect. It's not about you or me being the one that recognizes it and sees it all and reclocking it and we ain't never executed. Because, like I said, a lot of this, everything requires introspection and a lot of self-awareness. But it's about knowing yourself enough to keep your authenticity and your power and your integrity and your character intact. Like, that's just the point of this whole video, is to help you stay intact with who you are, because who you are is good enough. It's good enough in the sense that you need help. Don't get me wrong. You're in need of a savior. Don't mishear me. Don't misinterpret me. But don't also let somebody who's imperfect tell you who you are and who you're not. Because if we're going to be anything, let's be for real. So, love you. See you next video.